Ever feel like your manager's like playing a never-ending game of hide and seek? At work, I mean.
Yeah.
You're not alone if you do. Today, we're diving into Laissezfaireosis,
Uh-huh.
a leadership style, you could say,
Yeah.
where hands-off goes totally MIA.
Yeah, it's way more common than you think, and it can be a real just wreak havoc on teams, on organizations too.
And that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. You've shared some materials that, like, really bring this to life, especially this case study
Huh.
about a manager, a guy named Nerajaj. They've dubbed him the carefree sloth,
Ouch!
which, I mean, ouch.
So that's got to sting a little.
It's a bit on the nose, right?
It is, but I think it highlights how damaging this whole leadership style can be to everyone.
Totally. So we've got Niraj, Mr. Carefree Sloth, totally nonchalant, feet up on his desk, you know the type.
Yep.
Probably lost in his inbox.
Oh, 100%.
Well, meanwhile, his team is, like, drowning in this big client proposal.
Oh, no.
There's Priya trying to wrangle this project with zero direction.
Right.
Then there's Ravi,
Yeah.
who's poured his heart into this report that's, like, apparently vanished into the abyss.
Oh, no.
And then poor Nanya,
Yeah.
the intern,
Yeah.
just, like, totally lost in the sauce.
This case study is almost hard to read, you know?
Right.
Because it's so relatable. Like, imagine, put yourself in Priya's shoes, leading this high-stakes project,
Yeah.
but with zero guidance from the top.
Yeah. Talk about anxiety.
Yeah.
Seriously. And what's worse, the source material really emphasizes that this lack of direction and feedback can be so demotivating.
Oh, for sure.
It's like Ravi submitting that report and then crickets. Nothing.
Yeah, you're putting your work out there and
Nothing.
nothing comes back.
No wonder he's ready to throw his laptop out the window.
I know. And that's where that sense of being undervalued really kicks in when your manager is that hands-off.
Yeah.
It's easy to feel like your work just doesn't matter.
Totally.
That's how you get disengagement and burnout right there.
Like, it's like the whole team is running on fumes.
Yeah.
And, you know, it makes you wonder, like, what is going on with Niraj? Why is he so MIA?
Right. So, well, the source material, it actually dives into some potential causes of Laissezfaireosis. And it's not always what you might think. It's like, it can be well-intentioned sometimes, you know, misguided, but well-intentioned.
Right.
Like some leaders, like our buddy Niraj,
Yeah.
they might genuinely believe that their team thrives on like complete autonomy, you know,
Oh, interesting.
that by stepping in, they're actually stifling creativity.
So it's like, I believe in you, team.
Exactly.
Go forth and create magic. But, I mean, as we see with Niraj's team,
Yeah.
it's not really working.
It's having the opposite effect. They need some boundaries.
They're paralyzed almost
Sure,
by the
sure.
lack of, like, a roadmap.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you've also got the just the classic fear of giving feedback.
Oh, right, yeah.
Some managers just like really are uncomfortable with it, so they just avoid it.
Oh, totally.
Please.
The old, if I ignore it, maybe it'll go away approach.
Exactly.
Spoiler alert. It
It-
doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Right.
Definitely not a sustainable strategy. No. And let's be clear.
Yeah.
Laissezfaireosis, I mean, it's not just, you know, rough on the team, but it can backfire on the leader too.
Oh, of course.
Big time.
Yeah.
You know, like their reputation suffers.
Right.
Who wants to be known as that like absentee captain, you know?
Right. It's not a career power move or anything.
No, exactly.
Oh, no.
And it's a lose-lose for the company, right?
Totally, yeah. And the source material actually highlighted how that lack of direction from the top can really trickle down and impact everything.
there.
Like from deadlines to like the overall morale.
For sure. And we're not just talking about, you know, products being a little bit late.
Yeah.
We're talking like a culture of frustration
Hmm.
and apathy,
Totally.
you know? Studies have shown that companies with hands-off leaders, they often experience much higher turnover rates.
Oh, interesting. Because people want to feel valued and supported. They don't want to feel like they're adrift at sea.
It's that feeling of being on a rudderless boat
Exactly.
and everyone's rowing, but in different directions.
100%.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that lack of direction that we're talking about can really impact accountability too.
Absolutely. And that's when things really start to fall apart, right? When there's no clear ownership, tasks slip through the cracks, deadlines, they get missed.
The worst.
And it becomes like almost impossible to hold anyone accountable.
Uh,
Have you ever experienced that?
yeah.
That's so frustrating.
It's like a group project gone totally rogue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
And so, like, how do we spot Laissezfaireosis before it gets to that point?
Right.
Like, what are some of the telltale signs that your manager might be
Yeah. No, it's a good question.
a card-carrying member of the Carefree Sloth Club?
It's a good question.
Yeah. So the source material, it gives us like this handy checklist of symptoms.
Okay.
Like, think of them as red flags, right? Those like early warning signs that, okay, maybe things are headed in the wrong direction here.
Hit me with those red flags then.
So first up, that lack of direction we keep talking about,
Right.
right? Like, are you constantly finding yourself guessing
Yeah.
about what your manager actually wants?
Totally.
Feeling like you're navigating a maze blindfolded?
Yes.
That's a major red flag.
Huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of feeling lost,
Yeah.
let's not forget about the feedback black hole.
Oh, right.
Remember like Ravi in his report? Crickets.
That's crickets.
Like, that lack of constructive criticism, the absence of like any guidance on how to improve, it can be really disheartening.
It's so deflating.
Oh, it's like your work just goes into a void.
Yeah.
Nobody even looks at it.
Not motivating.
Not motivating.
No.
And then what happens when you combine that lack of direction with the lack of feedback?
Uh-oh.
You get a team that's about as organized as like a junk drawer.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? Totally. Yeah. Missed deadlines, projects going like wildly off course.
Yeah.
It's just a general sense of, wait, what are we even doing here?
It's like the team is a ship, but with a broken compass.
Yes.
Just drifting.
Yeah. A very accurate analogy.
Endlessly, yeah.
Totally. And when nobody's steering the ship, accountability just goes right out the window, right? Projects stall, deadlines get pushed. That sense of ownership just evaporates.
Which brings us to, like, I think the ultimate symptom,
Yeah.
which is a team that's just, like, completely deflated.
Right.
And that's where I think you really see the human cost of Laissezfaireosis.
Yeah.
The burnout, the frustration, the, like, urge to update your resume every 5 minutes.
Oh, totally. It's a recipe for just like disengagement and apathy, that's for sure. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, so it sounds like, the source material, it doesn't just, like, diagnose the problem, though.
Right.
Right. It offers this potential cure, which is this guide framework. Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a beacon of hope
Okay. Yes.
in this sea of Laissezfaireosis.
Okay. Let's talk about guide, because it sounds like a beacon of hope.
Okay.
Like a 5-step plan for, like, taking back control.
Exactly.
So let's break it down, guide, starting with
Okay.
get clarity.
Okay.
What does that, like, actually look like in action?
So imagine you're Priya, right? Drowning in ambiguity, this client proposal.
Right.
Get clarity. For her means schedule a meeting with Neeraj, have that conversation.
Right.
Be like, hey, I need to understand what success looks like here.
Yeah.
Like, what are the must-haves? What are the deadlines? How do our roles play into all of this?
It's about shifting from, like, feeling lost at sea to, like, having an actual map
Exactly.
and a compass. I love that.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once you've got that clarity, it's time for step 2,
Okay.
which is utilize check-ins.
Okay.
Remember, Ravi's disappearing report.
Yeah.
Regular check-ins, that's the antidote to that.
It's about creating a rhythm of communication so no one feels, like, left in the dark.
Exactly. Exactly.
And those regular touch points, it could be like team meetings, it could be like quick check-ins with your manager.
Sure.
Even like, I don't know, a shared project tracker or something.
Yeah.
Those can be game changers.
Oh, absolutely. It's about staying connected and like addressing those little fires before they become like 5-alarm blazes,
And speaking of, like, fire prevention, let's talk about initiate accountability.
Okay. Yes.
And I think it's important to, like, clarify here. This isn't about micromanaging,
Right.
right? It's about setting clear expectations from the very beginning.
Totally. It's like, who's responsible for what?
Yeah.
What are the deadlines? Like, how are we tracking progress? These are all questions that need clear answers. And when everyone's on the same page, it's so much easier to hold each other accountable.
It's about creating a culture of ownership, I think.
Yes.
Where everyone feels responsible for, like, the shared success.
Absolutely.
And then when you pair that with delegate, effectively,
Right.
you've got a recipe for, like, a well-oiled machine.
Right. 100%. And even with like a hands-off leader,
Yeah.
delegation is still crucial.
Totally, yeah.
Like, it's about empowering your team, not just dumping tasks on them and, like, hoping for the best.
Right. It's about giving, like, clear instructions, offering support, and just making sure that everyone has the resources they need to be successful.
Totally.
And last but not least, let's talk about kind of the secret sauce here. Encourage feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, this is so important.
It's huge.
It's about creating a culture of open communication where everyone feels comfortable sharing ideas,
Yes.
concerns, constructive criticism, creating that feedback loop so that you can constantly improve as individuals, but also as a team.
It's about creating a space where feedback is seen as a gift
Yeah.
and not like a threat.
100%.
And what I love about this whole GUI-D framework
Yeah.
is that it really does empower the team to, like, take action regardless of, what your manager's leadership style is like.
Right. It's about advocating for your own needs.
Yeah.
Creating a better work environment for yourself.
Totally. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you are responsible for your own, like, happiness and success.
100% at work.
I mean, as much as you can be.
Yeah, you have more agency than you think.
Yeah, you do. And it's, this whole conversation honestly has got me thinking, like,
Yeah.
could I be exhibiting some Laissezfaireosis tendencies?
It's something to reflect on.
It is a sobering thought.
It is.
It is.
For sure.
Yeah, like, am I giving the people I work with the clarity they need, the support, the feedback? Like, are they able to truly shine?
Totally.
Or am I, like, kind of holding them back with my own, like, hands-off approach?
It's a good question.
It's a big question.
Yeah.
Big questions for all of us to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think, listener, here's your homework.
Okay.
Take a good, hard look at your own leadership style.
Yeah.
And if you're picking up on any, like, carefree sloth vibes,
Right.
it might be time to, dust off that guide framework and chart a new course.
I love it. Could not have said it better myself.
And on that note, I think, until next time, keep diving deep. And remember, you have the power to create the workplace you deserve.